Hello, it's May 8th, 2017. This is Tony Samario from my father, BroSal, at BroSal.org YouTube channel. This is Think or Swim. And I got to try and talk a little bit about CERN and all of the hype about CERN, especially in the Christian community. Boy, oh boy, they're sure that CERN's opening the gates of hell, aren't they? They've got the 666 logo. They've got Shiva in front of the CERN building. They make some really bizarre videos with people dancing around CERN with these so subtle clues like, the God particle and all their insinuations. It's all so subtle, isn't it? So the Christians, of course, they've got CERN opening the gates of hell. And so let's not talk for a minute about the fact that this so-called 666 sign that everybody's so thrilled when you throw up what we used to call the OK sign, right? You throw up that hand signal with your first finger and your thumb attached in a circle and the other three fingers. Boy, it does look like 666, doesn't it? Ooh, that must be what it is, except it's not what it is. It goes all the way back to ancient Hinduism. And if it's not even earlier than that, as something out of Egypt or some Eye of Horus, then that's certainly what it's meant to portray in the modern day. That's why these people laugh when they hear all the brain-dead, brainwashed Christianity and all the world with their Illuminati symbolism and 666 and Satanism. Well, if you look, that's a very old sign. I imagine to the Hindus, it's that sign of Om. It's the sign of universal oneness. I believe in the modern day, it displays the Eye of Horus, which is why it's always something the modern, movie stars and rock stars, the lowest people on the pyramid that couldn't possibly be expected to understand the symbols, they throw it over their eye. And the silly Christians talk about 666 as if that's where this hand signal descends from. So the fact that CERN has what looks like a 666, it also has a 69 if you bother to pay attention, because 69 is a sign of this yin-yang, as above, so below dualism. So that's far more significant than this supposed biblical reference to 666, which, of course, is purposely misunderstood in the way that any Christian's ever been taught it, so that they could never possibly understand it, but be able to support all these fear-mongering, shills like Richie from Boston and all of them. Find me one that doesn't point to this being 666, except no, it's not. Not if CERN's identifying with Shiva and Hinduism, then no, it's not. It's rebirth. It's beginning and ending. And so I say it's got more to do with the fact they know that they're coming to this destruction of the planet. And probably this CERN, which is not the only one, these Hadron Colliders, if that's even what they're doing, who knows what they're actually doing. I wouldn't expect that all these obvious revelations to the public that all these brain-dead, brainwashed Christians like Richie from Boston run with, I'd expect that to be misdirection. I'd expect that to be deception. I'll bet they're all wrong. And when you look at a big picture of what might be going on, it's the least likely thing is that mankind himself, with machines that he's built, are somehow tearing a veil, as Richie from Boston likes to scare people with, and we're going to let demons out of the pit because, find me anywhere in the scripture where mankind lets demons out of the pit. Find me anywhere in scripture where the end has to do with demons coming out of the pit that man lets out. I see a seal that's opened by the Lamb that lets demons, there's smoke that comes out of a pit and locust demons come out. There's seals that get opened by this Lamb in Revelation that result in things coming out of a so-called pit. So I'm wondering if Richie from Boston imagines that means that these guys at CERN are letting things out of a pit, that they're preparing the world for demons to be embodied again. Where do you find that in Scripture? Even if that's what was going on in the time of Noah, well, that's what brought about the flood and destroyed all those people. And when it says, as in the days of Noah, there's a specific reference. People will be eating and drinking and not paying attention to the warning that God gave, that He's going to do a reset. He's going to destroy the earth and all the violence and all the crud that's going on. That's the warning about as in the days of Noah. Not that there'll be embodied demons running around. That's what God wiped out with the flood. If we're going to believe the poem, the legend, the myth, the story. So coming around this time, what we're told is there'll be this great apostasy by Paul. We're told through Daniel that the people of the prince that will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. Then an abomination will cause desolation, set up on a wing of the temple, according to Revelation. We're told that there's going to be a 7-year covenant with many, according to Daniel, and that in the middle of it, it'll be broken, and someone will stop the sacrifice on the altar. Paul says when the Jews and Gentiles say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon them. Jesus said you'll hear wars and rumors of wars, but don't be alarmed. The end is not yet. So nothing as far as the real relevant scriptural references to this coming of Jesus, this end time, this Luciferian, Satanistic culmination in the world. Nothing about demons being let out of the pit by man. Nothing about re-embodied demons running the world. When does all that take place? What are all these Richie from Boston? Where do they get their information? What scripture are they reading, I wonder? So the most likely idea is that CERN's got to do with the hidden technology that no one's ever gotten to see, which is coming to the surface like when they turned those buildings to dust in New York City. Those weren't demolished. If you look at video of buildings being demolished, you notice there's similarities. The buildings do just seem to fall at free fall speed. But demolished buildings leave about a 30% pile of rubble where the 100% standing building used to be. They never, ever, 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 ever leave a 1% pile of dust. Never. They never leave holes in the ground instead of a 30% pile of rubble. That's just easy to see. So whatever went on in 9/11 is something other than simple demolition, was some other kind of demolition, in which most of the buildings were actually turned to dust on their way to the ground. That's what really happened. And so that speaks to some sort of energy weapon, some sort of Tesla technology, something that accounts for all these UFO sightings, which are just, us practicing with the technology that nobody gets to know about. Plasma balls flying through the sky that are called meteors, perhaps. Who knows? We don't know, because we don't know the truth, because they don't tell us the truth. And so CERN, I imagine, is one of those things that's hard to hide, so you don't hide it. You brag about it. Oh, we're opening the gates of hell with this thing. Ooh, the Christians are so scared, they can't even do any research on it. All they know is CERN's opening the gates of hell. When probably CERN's got to do with this alternative system of power, this use of plasma and the ether that Tesla was working on. It's more likely that these have got to do with giant Tesla technology coils, something that's going to be used for this war, so that they can, they can drop their little bombs that they've been building, shoot their little rockets around, but those don't do nothing, in the way of the type of destruction that they need to accomplish, perhaps. People that have maybe built caves that they don't want built, and they need the kind of technology that can go underground and destroy all that stuff. I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is whatever turned those buildings to dust on 9/11 is something that is not common knowledge. And CERN is probably something going on that has got nothing to do with opening the gates of hell, because where does man get to do that? Where in the scriptures is man capable of doing that? So I'm going to say CERN's got to do with technology's got to do with weapons we don't know about, got to do with perhaps weather manipulation, got to do with this whole change into the golden age that's coming. And this is part of their science that we don't know about. But it probably is associated with Shiva destroying the world to start it again. That's probably what it's really got to do with, but nothing to do with tearing the veil of hell. Think or swim, guys. Think or swim.